were gonna say?
I'm right now. Okay. Good evening. You might remember Ian from the video clips that I put into the BeamtUp Origins 2.0 about hash pants.
Hash pants!
Back in late 2016, Ian moved away to Oklahoma and I moved to a different location. But now he's back, at least for tonight. And I haven't seen him since late 2016, so it's been a bit. One of my biggest problems with Apple and the way they do things is that, and I would love your take on this actually. You know how I made a video once about talking about why Apple is so expensive. I dated a girl once who was obsessed with Coach. Loved Coach bags.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah. So we went into a Coach store once, and a wallet was $150. A purse.
What, 600?
400 to 600. What the f ever? Like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Everybody knows that Coach started from nothing. Everything started from nothing. So when Coach first got started, what happened? What did they just make the best purses ever, or did somebody who already had a lot of pull publicly, as a celebrity or whatever, started doing their own thing, and because they're the ones who did it, they could get away with asking an absurd amount of money for something that you could easily make the equivalent of for way less.
You are describing to a T what capitalism is. I already own this. Yes. You're saying I already have the capital, so I'm going to put forth all the money to promote it in the right ways. So I'll put forth, $150 million, whatever. That's nothing to me. And that will promote it to a point where it becomes a brand that is huge, that everyone wants to be in. And of course, there's also intelligence, and there's also, understanding how people work and how to communicate directly to individuals and how to make people want something and all that. But the biggest impact consistently has been how much money do you have to start out with? That's a problem.
As a customer or as the purveyor of the goods?
As the purveyor of the goods.
Okay.
As the one who is doing the advertising, because advertising advertising is my single biggest problem with anything capitalist.
What I also wanted to ask and to get your take on is say if I started selling the BeamtUp shirts for $300 per t-shirt, and if I made sure, hypothetically speaking,
you did the burp and blow it away.
I did. Yeah, you like Jason was talking about. I always do that. Absolutely. I don't want to cloud the air here with oh God, what the f did you eat?
You don't need to worry about it. But go on.
Right. If I were to make, the BeamtUp shirts $300 a pop, and then hypothetically make everyone in the U.S. or virtually everyone in the U.S. aware, everyone knows that these shirts cost $300 a piece. Then, if they see somebody else walking around with one of these, they're like, holy shit, that's a BeamtUp shirt. And for the sole fact that it costs so much, $300 to have,
that
anybody
walking
high
status.
Exactly, because all it does, just the fact that they're wearing it, proves that they have the amount of money to just toss at a t-shirt with a white logo on it.
Here's something to throw out.
It's like a false status symbol. Please elaborate.
Here's something to throw out. Is that hierarchy of status of 100% necessity? Something we were talking about earlier off camera. Is this a hierarchy that needs to exist? Would people still be able to find someone they actually care about and love without that hierarchy of status?
I 100% believe that. Yeah.
They would. Period.
Damn.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Hierarchy is everywhere that does not need to exist. It just is.
It is nuts how they're that. And it's my primary issue with that company is how much they ask for something that gives you so much less than something.
Which company,
from
Coach or Apple?
Another brand. Okay. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but people buy it. But Now, whenever you see somebody walking around with an XS Max or a 10S Max, you know that they shelled out the bucks. Now, I will say that it's the price of phones means significantly less today than it did 4 years ago before we started doing installment billing. How many people do you know that went and bought their phone outright for the full retail price plus tax? Just cha-ching, one purchase, done. I guarantee you that it's way less than the people who went and just upgraded the regular way.
0 or 1.
Right. Very few people.
Or you're in a very rare group where everyone does.
Right. But in the same breath, it's a fact that, you know what, I'm going to do some calculations right here. Open calculator. Then we're going to do, what is $1,500 divided by 24? $62.50 per month. I don't know if you can see that, but that's $62.50 per month that you'd be paying for just your phone, not counting your service or what is it, or insurance or whatever else. It's still a lot of money to pay a month for a phone, but it's possible to be making minimum wage, and if it's something that you really care about, to still have a phone that's so freaking expensive. You were gonna say something.
Because people are less worried about the price of the phone these days, because it's already become like a part of of what you have to have in order to be at the baseline. You have to have a decent phone to be at the baseline for social acceptance.
It's a very real thing, by the way.
Yes, very much so.
Especially with Apple.
Absolutely, yes.
And especially with teens.
That's true. I mean, just Apple. I mean, people are like, what's with the green bubble? You know,
dude. This whole video on it. I'm gonna throw up the card right there. I'm like, it pisses me the off. But continue. I don't want to overstamp all that.
Apple's stock, while it's growing, I foresee them. They've made so many mistakes recently that unless they turn things around, I see it going down in the next 3 or 4 years.
So do you think that as time goes on, that's something that I've been wondering too, is, you know,
I really think it's coming to that point. It's coming to the point. On YouTube, a lot of people that are super into iPhones, after the MacBook Pro with no USBs.
And the keyboard issues too.
Well, yeah, that just amplified it. But no USBs was what tore people out of that whole system.
Really? USB Type-C, I wish we could show measurements of, you know, the height of it's not that much bigger, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Honestly, I mean, they could have seriously just included one single adapter in the box. A single adapter in the box. And the biggest part of it would have been fixed. It would have cost them literally $3 max per MacBook. $1,200 MacBook, keep in mind. $1,200. $3 more of their costs, and they could have fixed this problem. They didn't. There's multiple things about this. One is Steve Jobs isn't there. Steve Jobs, a lot of people worship that guy.
I would love to see how he would.
I think he was very interesting. Obviously, you know, really like good at what he did. Total swag.
He was a but like
total dude. He was good at what he did, but he also was good at screwing over other people, which is something I'm not.
Something I also agree with.
I can't. He screwed over the person that actually made Apple. The person that actually made the physical product. Steve Jobs screwed over Steve Wozniak.
Dun dun dun.
And Steve Wozniak certainly you can tell that he knows. I mean, Steve Jobs' daughters have said that he's made their lives miserable.
Even after death.
Yes. Have you read that? I mean, like, seriously, a few months ago, his oldest daughter came out and said that he was a terrible father. That he was pretty much an abandoner. He didn't pay child support. He refused all sorts of shit. Bill Burr actually had a great video about this. A great performance about it, where he talked about the things that Steve Jobs actually did. Where he just literally says, like, so Steve Jobs, everyone cares about Steve Jobs. What the f*** did this guy do? Like, seriously, what did he do? I don't understand. He was like, hey, I want all of this music library in this. Get to it.
Make it happen.
Yeah, it's like, and somebody else made it happen.
The engineers was like, sir, what you're asking is impossible. And he's like, basically he says, I don't believe you. Make it happen. You know, and I mean, I guess they did because he released a product and it did really well, the iPod. I owned an iPod back in the day, but, and so it worked. With all the things that we just talked about with Mr. Jobs, he was largely responsible, if not solely responsible, largely responsible for what gave Apple the reputation that it's riding on to this day. But when you look at the cost to the people that worked with him and for him, it poses the question, in order to make an empire that is as influential and significant as Apple, does it take you being a person and boss to get to that level?
If that's the case, might I say, that is beyond our reach.
Yeah.
That is something that
I feel like we should end the video
reach
right
out
there.
And your hand gets crushed. And yeah, it may have been successful, but your hand doesn't exist anymore. You don't have a hand.
In closing, we're going to appreciate the Scotties, the patrons on Patreon that pay $10 or more per month. And those are Unit Omega, Anthony Jackson, Christopher Caswell, Sin O, Eric Price, Josh Utley, Kyler, Nick Hawks, Spidget, Stephen Nichols, Stuart Glover, and we have 2 new ones. Those are Jatinder Lal, hope I said your name right, and Miguel Nunez. My sincere and profuse expression of gratitude.
BeamtUp. I stay with my Scotties. My Scotties are my boys. I ride with them. And I put that on the generation.
And for the Beamers, the ones that paid $1 to $2 a month are David Larson, Excelsior, Encrypted Bunny, Nicholas Clark, and Roman van Rukhuizen.
Because you reached out so far.
Stay mindful and stay beaming. I always cut, like, I'll do the greeting and then boom, and then I'll just like wait and just think of the next thing to say. There's always this long weird pause that I always cut out.
We're rolling
on the river. And this is when they'll cut away to the hash pans and like it'll be like cut right to the welcome to hash pans.
I know what you're saying, yada yada, blah blah blah,
Blah, blah, blah.
blah, yada yada.
Dude, but blah yada though.
Blah yada
Dude,
though.
blah,
I can cuss.
yeah, you totally cuss. I can just bleep it out, whatever. So you can cuss all you want to. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh God. Okay, I think I got something.
Probably the way you should have done it the whole time.
Probably. Yeah, I was about to say because I have it flipped out every time.
Oh, and the funny thing is you won't see the way I look to the camera until after.